I haven't changed a fucking thing, but I want to talk about it. Hey guys, this is Andy with Mindset Matters More, and today we're going to have a great podcast. I mean, they're all great, but today's a very special podcast because I have my very first guest, Mr. Justin Aguirre. Now, for those of you who do not know, he was a person that told me to press record. We had a conversation and I was like, hey, how do you do this? Do I need a mic? Do I need a camera? Do I need da 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 da? He was like, girl, you need an app and just hit record and go. So he's the reason why we're here today. It's his fault. Mr. Justin, please give yourself a absolute wonderful round of applause because you, my friend, are changing lives. And what do you want the listeners to know?
Recording in progress.
Oh,
I just want to say that I'm honored to be on this podcast because I give that information out to countless people that ask me, I want to start a podcast. I'm like, well, then start one. You have 30 seconds to start one. And Andy is one of the few people that actually took that advice. And in the same day, she sent me artwork, her first episode, and she proved that she actually started a podcast. And that is the type of podcast host that you want to be listening to.
that's wild, because I just remember like just making it so complicated. And that's what I do, right? I just make everything complicated. But when somebody says, hey, no, no, just press a button, I'm like, oh, okay, let's go. Really, what's going on is my brain stopping me. So I'm so grateful for you, friend, that you can. Um, you know, Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. So my name's Justin, born here in Miami, Florida. It's where I'm at right now, but for the past couple years I've been traveling the freaking world. I've gone to 20 countries in 2 years, but finally came back to my hometown here in Miami. And I, like Andy, am an online coach in health, fitness, nutrition, with a key emphasis on spirituality and wellness. I forever and ever was a soccer coach. I was a soccer player most of my life. And during COVID 2020, I realized that I was not very happy with my body and my habits, the way that I looked, and ultimately, like, just my overall energy in life. And I was like, there needs to be a change. So I got a coach, transformed my life, lost 45 pounds, completely renovated myself into the man that I felt like God always wanted me to be. Then, through that process, a year later, I began my own coaching business, and I am still going.
That is amazing. Because I met you, what, like 3 years ago? It must have
Yeah,
been at
we
least,
we
right?
met like I think like 2021 it was. Yeah.
Right, right. Well, speaking of 2021, the way that I prepared for this podcast was I actually listened to an episode of your podcast that I
Okay.
was on. So I was listening, and two things struck me. The
Yeah.
first thing was that absolutely nothing changed in the messages that I was preaching. Like 99% of the things that you and I talked about, nothing changed. But you know what did change? Two things. Time and things that were out of my control. Like, for instance, I was 6 years sober then, I'm 9 years sober now. I can't control time. Things that I couldn't control were like, oh, I lived in a certain house, I had to get rid of that house. Now I'm here, like, but by force. So the things that were there, and yet, no matter how much that the things that are coming out of my mouth didn't change, I am a very different person.
Wow.
That person that was on your podcast in 2021,
Mhm.
she is like a shadow of who I am today.
Wow.
And so today we're talking about change. We're talking about what creates long lasting, real, positive, effective change. What's been your experience with that?
Gosh, what a good question, man. What a great podcast topic. When you were talking to me right now, I was thinking about this phrase that I use sometimes to describe my past self. Right? Because we're all evolving. Even the top people or people that would see themselves at the bottom, there's always an evolution. Like what you were just saying, you're like, yeah, that was me 3 Andys ago. And that's my phrase that I use. That was me 3 Justins ago, 2 Justins ago. That was Justin 6 Justins ago, right? And the reason I say that is because we only know where we're at right now. And we have no idea how it's going to unfold. But I know that in a year from now, I'm going to be a different person. Even though I think like I've reached, or I'm doing this, or I've changed, it's like, no, like my beliefs, my lifestyle, everything is going to evolve. Hopefully for the good and we'll get better. But there will be a new version of Justin to come. Right? So I think that's true for all people if they're pursuing righteousness, if they're pursuing what they feel like they're being called and asked to do. To answer more of your question, like lasting change, man, like real transformation. My experience with that, I feel like I feel like it coincides with my essence, like with who I am, right? And there's certain things that are like native to people and individually specifically like my what comes the most natural to me, my essence, that thing that's always been true of me since I was a boy, like that very thing. Like once we've started to like really flirt and mess and like mesh into that, I feel like that's the unchangeable things. So for me, it's my authenticity. For me, it's my like humor. For me, it's my calmness. Like these are the things that I've refined in my life that I think no matter what happens or no matter what Justin evolves, like I will always have a few things about me that were true since I was born. And those are the things that I feel like people should tap more into, those things that are so natural to them, because we all have these gifts.
It's like fundamental, the core, the spirit within you that is just
Yes.
like unending, but yet at the same time shaping your reality and who you are on the outside, no matter what, right?
Correct. Correct.
Oh, that's so interesting because whenever I think of change, I think of it as an external thing. I think of it like, oh, how am I going to get this thing externally to come within me? But yet, you just flipped it, man. It's in you already. You just got to bring it out.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. It's not about making a name for yourself. It's about revealing the name you've had the whole time.
Oh my God. That
That's
is
the wisdom.
that's it, right? That's the snippet right there. It's so true because each one of us as an individual are very, very different. But yet, and I don't really like making blanket statements like this, so just bear with me for a second.
Yeah.
Society pressures us to conform to these boxes that we feel we have to embody. And,
Mm,
like that even extends to people who are inactive, people who are jobless, people who are lazy, people who are overweight, people who like, because that's what they see, that's what they know, the social pressure to stay and be that. Like they can't tap into something that is greater than them because everything around them has molded them to this thing rather than them molding the stuff that's around them with their own essence, right?
that's good. That's good. That's good.
Well, what do you think has been the biggest change that you've experienced because of tapping into that inner source?
I I'll say for me and then for the whole. I think for the whole, we'll say for the whole first. For the whole, and when I say the whole, I mean like human beings, because I love to speak in ways that like apply to all people. That's what comes very natural to me. I feel like we're all, wherever we come from, whoever we are, whatever journey or path we're on, we're all looking for a sense of deep inner peace. I really feel that. I feel like human beings are restless, right, until they find rest, and then they get restless again. We seek out these things in a variety of ways, right? And at the end of the day, it's like we're wanting this peace to reside in us longer and longer and longer. It could be like someone that finds peace after a workout, or someone that's trying to find peace at a strip club. Some things are constructive, some things are destructive. But at the end of the day, they're looking for this fulfillment, this peace inside of themselves. I feel like for me, my biggest uh, growth is realizing and seeing that I can have this peace. I'm worthy of this peace. I have the ability as a man right now in my life to cultivate that inner peace. And that is so freeing, bro. Like it's so freeing to know that I can finally do that because it's been like a torture in my mind sometimes to find inner peace and never being satisfied. And so I feel like my biggest growth and my way that I tap into source is by being able to feel like I am finally having this peace that I've always wanted. And it's not permanent. It's not permanent, but it's a lot better than it was 2 Justins ago, 3 Justins ago, 4 Justins ago.
Wow, that's it's peace isn't something that is given. And it sounds like what you're saying is, you can attain it through certain actions, through certain behaviors, through something. What is that something that gets you to that point of peace?
For me, there's a few tools that are practical, right? But even in those tools, if I were to tell you them and do them, like a set of 100 push-ups or eating clean, like even if I told you to do that, like it wouldn't, you could have peace and it could leave you, right? So it's not so much the actions as it's my inner life, right?
Mm.
Because anybody could do push-ups, anybody could, eat healthy, anybody can go phone a friend or write a gratitude list or travel to another country. But it's like, how do you associate your mind and your heart with these actions in a way that actually transforms you? So for me, I have a rich inner life with spirit, with the universe, with God. And I am in a state of communication and verbally, like out loud or in my heart, where I'm aligning myself to these forces that I feel like are around me. And I'm trying to bring harmony into myself by making peace with the world. Yeah. With
Ooh,
them. And
harmony.
I think having a deep, spiritual, rich inner life is the key to attaining this peaceful thing that I speak about.
You posted on your Instagram,
Mm.
snippets of the Bible. Do you find that the
Yeah.
Bible has transformed you in a way?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Like, because when I talk about that, like verbal outer things, I believe there's power in some scripture verses. I really do. I think that it's not just words that were written in any book. Like, there's like a some sort of cryptic meaning or esoteric knowledge in something that was said that was powerful from a higher force or higher plane. And so I'll say these verses out loud and they do something to me that I can't explain. Now, there's quotes from like Jim Rohn I'll say out loud that do the same. So I don't know how this whole thing works, right? But I know that when it comes to scripture, that definitely works.
Right, right. I actually was talking about this a couple episodes back about, I am a self-help book junkie. Like I have read them all, whether it's finance,
Yeah.
relationships, spiritual,
Okay.
whatever it is. And fundamentally, if you like one of my favorite ones is the Four Agreements. I don't know if you've actually read that. I feel like you have.
I've come across it. I might have done the Spark Notes a few years ago.
Well, if you get a chance to read it, it's wonderful. But my
Yeah.
point for all of this is, I read it once a year. And what the first year that I read it, I got something out of it. Year two, I got something else out of it. Year
Mm.
three, it was another thing that year one and year two I hadn't even thought of. And, I feel like, especially when you come across these spiritual guides, these spiritual readings, or something that connects you to source, where you are in life, certain words and the way that they're formed are going to hit different. You
Mm.
can probably read the same passage that you post on your Instagram a month later, and it's just like, oh, that's where I was at that time, and it doesn't hit like it did the moment that I read it. But it's that kismet, it's that moment that, like, you're seeking this healing and like the spiritual word just like, wow, that's what I needed. And I'm going to
Yeah.
carry that forward. Like it just happens like that
Yes. Yeah.
magically, mysteriously, but it happens when you seek it out, right?
Yes. 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 And you have to. I was talking about this the other day. You have to call it in.
Yes.
You have to open this door. You have to say like, I want to be healed. Like, because people say like they want to be healed. Like, who wants to feel like shit? But do you really want it? Like, do you really want to feel light? Because I feel like a lot of people are just in love with the darkness. They just won't say it, and they settle for cheap fantasies and pleasures. Do you really want to be healed? Do you really want to feel whole inside? Do you really want to feel this abundant, true, everlasting life? Like, really, really want it? Then ask for it. Ask for it. Really demand it in your life. And then your actions will flow out of that desire that you have, you know? But it's like we settle for cheap fantasy, cheap joy. You know? It's like, do you really want the good stuff, man? You know?
Oh yeah. And I mean, do you want to fix it or do you want a band-aid? Do you want
Yeah.
the actual solution or do you just want to cover it for now and not look at it?
Yeah.
Because I found that, you can pray and pray and pray for the solution, but if you don't listen to the solution, if you're like, oh no, I don't like that solution, if you're like, that's not my path, like, no, I don't want to eat clean. No, I don't want to go to the gym. No, I don't want to apologize to my husband. No, I don't want to get a job. No, I don't want to do those things. You're not listening to the solution for the thing that you are praying for, that thing that you are yearning for, that calling that your soul is given. Because that's the thing is you make the call, but you have to listen.
Yeah. Yeah. And respond.
Yes.
And that's really good, Andy. That's really good words. That's really good words. I'm interested in what that quote or that line you said in the beginning. It was a quick one. What
Oh,
was it?
the I haven't changed for shit is the words that I said on your podcast are very much the same things I still preach today. Everything that I have said on your podcast was I did say one thing that it was like, oh, I'm kind of a bougie eater. That's the only thing about me that's changed. I've stopped being such a bougie eater. But we were talking about, failure. We were talking about the things that like I talk about constantly still. Like
Yeah.
we could easily just plop your episode into one of my next episode and you would not notice the difference because the
Wow.
mindset has just been so laser focused on no, these are the hurdles that we have and we just bust through them and keep going. I mean, the names and dates of everybody around me and situation has changed and everything around me has changed, but me fundamentally, I'm that girl. That's me.
Yeah, that's your essence. That's your true you. Yeah.
Right. Which is so crazy because I was going into it ready to be like, I don't know who that person is. Ready to call me on my own bullshit. Ready to just be like, oh, let me correct some things now that Justin's on my podcast. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, that it's the same. Like the same things I was saying is exactly what I would say today.
Look at that.
It's
Look at that.
wild. Wild.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's what we want is congruency. It's not to say that you haven't evolved in other ways in life, but when you were on that episode, you were preaching and you were speaking like true hard, your essence, truths about your life, and there's certain things that I think should never be compromised. It sounds like you've kept them in check.
It's a, again, sometimes when I'm talking, I feel like I'm talking out of my ass because it's like, yeah, like I believe these things, but they're hard to live up to. They're very hard to live up to. I have very high expectation for myself. I have very high standards. And
Same.
yeah, it's very hard to live up to. So sometimes I'm just like, oh, do I really believe that about myself? And, when I was going to listen to your podcast, I was ready to be like, oh, I'm just 10 times the badass that I used to be. Like that person is no longer, but I'm just like, no, the person that I am today is because that person existed. That person was there saying the things that she's saying And look at what has got me, like all this amazing,
Yeah.
wonderful experiences in life that has happened because of that. So it's just so
That's so
great.
good. That's so good to reflect on where we've come from and realize that we've been faithful to the vision. That, to me, going back to what I said earlier, creates inner peace. Because inner peace, what's the opposite of inner peace? It's conflict.
Mm.
It's like when things are incongruent, when there's like clashing, like things aren't flowy. There's no harmony, right? So the way you create disruption is by going back on your word.
Ooh.
When you create conflict in yourself is by saying you're going to do something and not coming through or breaking a promise. So it sounds like you've been holding your word the whole time. And that should bring you a sense of deep inner peace.
It did. It really does. It does. But not only that, that you gave me a vehicle to be able to witness that. You are
Mm.
part of that. And I'm just so grateful to you, amigo, because you have changed my life in so many ways. Like I love following you. And sometimes when
Yeah.
you get up and you're doing your burpees, I'm just like, all right, Justin's doing it. I gotta get up and I do gotta do my shit.
I love that. That
You
means
know?
the world to me. I see you posting at 2:45, 3 a.m. I'm like, how does she do it? This girl is an owl on steroids. How does she do it?
Absolutely. Well,
It's
Justin,
just, yeah.
what is something that you would like to say to the world? What's something that you want to leave my listeners with? What message sings to you right now?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to just capitalize on what I said earlier and maybe expand on it a little more because I've been feeling it heavy in my life and I want it to be true for others. And if it's already true in your life, then you can just hear it again. But if you need to hear it, then receive it. Um, and like Jesus says, it's like for those who have ears, let them hear, right?
Hmm.
And so meaning if you want it, it's there. But if you don't want it, it's not there, but it's gonna be there, right? So the message and the truth is we live in 21st century Western modern America. A lot of your listeners are probably here in the States. There's levels of comfort and instant gratification. And the overall vibe, if you're a millennial or even younger, I don't know your listener range, but it's like, let's just chill. That's the vibe. It's just, let's just chill. And you know what? Like, it feels good. Like, we're not in times of war anymore. Like, even though the world's kind of crazy, this isn't like the 1700s or 1600s or 1800s. Like, we can definitely chill and coast through this life. And there's this just like this desire to do that. And I feel it in the air. And when it comes to change and transformation, which is the industry that you and I are in, the only way that's going to happen, because when it comes to our industry, people want to get results or feel a certain way by still chilling. They still want to coast. They still want to feel like, oh, just, you even have people preaching like you can feel us the same way you do now and you can have change. It's like there needs to be suffering, there needs to be discomfort, and there needs to feel pain. And my main message that I want to give people is, do you really, really want change? Like, let's just start there. Like, do you really, really want to feel transformation in your life? Or have you made peace with the darkness and negativity and averageness? Are
Oof.
you lying to yourself? Do you really want to have inner transformation? Or are you just happy and content with momentary blips of happiness? You know? And I think if more people were honest, this sounds crazy, but they say they want something, but they really don't.
Mm.
And I see that a lot in my clients and people who doesn't want to have a great body, right? Like, of course, like who wants to be fatter? Who wants to, it's like desire. Do you really want change? Is it a fire in your heart? And I think most people, if they're honest, they have to say, no, I don't want it that bad. And that's my message that I want to give people is fucking want it, bro. Fucking want it and actually try hard, like really try hard, put in effort, because man, I feel like if you really tried, you can do it, like, but people don't really try as hard and they want to just chill or they don't want to look like a try hard. So it's like, let's just chill. And that's that whole thing I was talking about. It's in the air. So that's a long one, but Andy, that is my message has been on my heart for this past week.
Oh, no, I love every single bit of it because change is within you. It is within your power. It is something that you can do. And you're right. People sit there and say, "Oh, I want this thing, but I want it handed to me." Because it's easy. It's the easy route. Change never, never, never going to be easy. But at the end of the day, you can rest your head on your pillow knowing that you are doing something that aligns with who you really are. So, Justin, I'm so grateful for you. This has been such an amazing freaking podcast. Drop all your socials. How can people get in touch with you? Let them know.
Yeah. Drop it in the show notes. This is Justin Aguirre 7 on IG. You will find me there. And Andy and I are just like on Instagram. Follow us, connect with us, ask us. We are the most dope coaches, friendly, spiritual, ripped coaches.
I'm not ripped right now. I'm bulking, all right? Don't worry, we're getting back there though. We're getting back. All right, amigo. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys got something valuable out of this. You know how to reach out to Justin, you know how to reach out to me. Love you guys. Bye.